Hello, friends! Welcome back to the Tiny House Concierge. My name is Alaska. I am your Tiny House Concierge. And today we're going to talk about my biggest mistakes in going tiny. Oops. Real quick, this is a new channel. If you would show some love and subscribe, thank you. If you're not there yet, that's cool. Liking it helps too. Alright, so my biggest mistake in going tiny was not defining my life upon moving in. We all have things that we love. But when you move into a tiny house, literally only what you love the most can fit. What you need and what you really, truly, deeply value. And when I moved into a tiny house, I was excited to downsize and be all minimal and all that, but I hadn't really written down exactly what my life was about. And that made it a lot harder to figure out what to take and what to leave. It also made it a lot harder, and I'm still struggling with this, honestly, a little bit, with the stuff with stuff coming into my life, because I keep forgetting what the things that my life is about. And so, yeah, if you're gonna go tiny, my recommendation is start by writing down what your life is about. Anything that you want to bring into the house, hold it up to that list. All right, number 2. The second mistake I made in going tiny is using the words tiny house. This sounds really goofy, but a tiny house is a new thing. People even though they've been around for a little while, they're still relatively new. Even if someone has heard of a tiny house, they probably don't know the specifics of what that means or what that is or how to handle one. And so when you go to places like the DMV or you call up an RV park and ask about parking, they hear the words tiny house, they open their book, they don't see the word tiny house, they don't know what to do next, and they tell you no. No, you can't park here. No, we're the DMV and we don't deal with houses. It just, people don't know what to do a lot of times when you say tiny house. That's why if your tiny house is a movable tiny house and is on wheels, you're a lot better off in many situations saying travel trailer. So it took me several months of calling RV parks and being like, can I park my tiny house, before I learned to say, I'm wondering if you have long-term parking for my travel trailer. Now, I definitely, if they say yes and you're actually going to move there, send them a picture of your house before, just so that you don't transport your house and only to find out that they're not going to accept it visually. But yeah, travel trailer. All right, my third mistake in going tiny. This is so embarrassing, you guys. I cannot believe I did this, but I didn't research the builder. I fell in love with the house. I fell in love with the people. I did get an inspection. So I will say I got an inspection done, and I will make another video about that at some point. But I should have researched the builder. If I was going to do this again, I would want to know how long the builder had been building, specifically building tiny houses, because that is a different thing. I would want to know how happy their customers were, how well the houses were holding up, and whether or not the company has changed hands or has any bankruptcy rumors. All right, number 4. My fourth mistake in going tiny is that I immediately told everybody and their mother they could come stay with me. I was so excited about my new house. I wanted to share it with the entire universe. And yeah, and that was a bad idea. And here's why. A tiny house is kind of like your bedroom. It's really small. It's a much more intimate space than even like a small apartment. And what I didn't realize is that, you know how there's some friends that they come to they're totally allowed in your kitchen and living room, but there's only a few select people that you're here, come in my bedroom. It's kind of like that. I realized that there's very few people that I would actually be cool with, like, spending the night in my tiny house. So, just something to consider before you promise everybody that they can come over and or spend the night. All right, number 5. I made a lot more than 5 mistakes, you guys, by the way, but friends, by the way, but I'm gonna cap it here. My 5th mistake is that I didn't put myself in a position of authority, or at least not to the degree that I wish I would have. I know that we feel a lot more comfortable when we trust experts, and experts are great, but experts are people, and people screw up, and also this is a really new industry. We're all kind of making it up together. So I guess I thought that the industry was more established than it was. I thought that the protocol was in place more than it is. And so there's a lot of people that would tell me something and I would be kind of like, that sounds a little off, or that's not what this other person said, or that's not what I heard on the internet forums. Like, and it made it really difficult to sort through the information, and it made it really difficult to know who to trust. And sometimes I feel like I trusted people that maybe I shouldn't have, and fortunately nothing bad or majorly bad has happened, but you really got to put yourself in the position of authority. And I know that Lindsay Wood from Experience Tiny Homes talks about this a lot. Shout out to Lindsay Wood. She's amazing. If you don't know who she is, definitely Google that name. But she talks about this a lot, about you are in control of your tiny house journey. So remember that you are going to reap the benefits of whatever happens. If something seems weird to you, ask more questions. Put yourself in the driver's seat. You are in charge of your tiny journey, 100%. All right, friends, I've made a lot more mistakes than that. We're going to have to make a lot more videos. So thank you for your time and for watching this one. Again, this is a new channel. If you would subscribe, that would be great. If you would like it, that would be cool too. And if you've gone tiny, I would love to know what mistakes you have made. All right, friends, until next time. There we go.